that unless there is a cross in our lives, there will never be a resurrection. The Christian law of life is we have to die in order to live. Now, I do not mean, and he did not mean physically dying. He meant mortification, self-denial, the application of the cross in our lives. So that unless we die to ourselves, we cannot live with him. We do not like the cross in our lives. As a matter of fact, we'd like to escape it. As I told you last night, that's the essence of the demonic, the escape from mortification and cross and the penance. On one occasion, the Greeks came to our Lord. And we do not know what the Greeks asked our Lord. But we can guess it because of the answer of our blessed Lord to the Greeks. I think the Greeks said to our Lord, and this was within 2 weeks of his crucifixion, if you stay here among these people, they're going to kill you. Why don't you leave this land? Come to Athens. We're the country of the wise men. We've only killed one great mind in our history, and that was Socrates, and we regret it ever since that we gave him that poison. So if you stay here, you will die. If you come to Athens, you will live. That they must have said because our Lord could not quote, for example, the prophet to him. He could not quote Isaiah chapter 53 and say, no, it has been prophesied of me that I must undergo Good Friday in order to have Easter. So he appealed to nature because the Greeks could understand that. And he said, unless the seed falling to the ground dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it comes forth unto life and bears fruit 10, 20, and 100-fold. That was a lesson the Greeks could understand. And this is the lesson of Jonah, the lesson of our blessed Lord, and this is the essence of Christianity. Remember, Christianity is not easy. That's the reason we have the interest in Oriental religions today. Because, well, it gives us the joy of having a religion, but it does not cost us very much. But Christianity costs something. Grace is not cheap. We just cannot walk through life into the kingdom of heaven. Now let me see how long I've been talking to you. You see, I do not want to talk too long, but look at the interest here. So I'll tell you a story. Come here, you in the middle. Come here to me. The boy in the middle. This young man here. Come here. How old are you? How much? 4. He is 4 years old. And here was a little boy who was looking up here, very, very interested. Now, so you create the problem of how much more should I talk before, well, you get bored to death. Listen, I'll tell you a funny story about long talkers. So you go back to your place now and listen to it. I was once giving a talk in San Francisco, and a gentleman spoke before me, and as he arose, his wife, who was in the front table, handed him the program, and she wrote on the back of it a big K-I-S-S, Phyllis. And when he finished talking, I said, wasn't that nice of your wife to send you that message. Oh, he said, it doesn't mean what you think it means. It means keep it short, stupid. Now, coming back to the lesson of Jonah, our blessed Lord, and the Greeks, we have to work out our salvation. And there will be crosses in our lives that we make through mortification and self-denial, and then there are other crosses that are imposed on us. For example, sickness, particularly of children. Now, what do we do with crosses? Poor health, for example. And then injustice from others. Well, we have to unite it with our Lord on the cross in order to use it to purchase our eternal salvation. About a year ago, I was talking to Pope Paul VI, and I said to him, "You're well named. Named Paul. Paul, as he went from city to city, was stoned, from Lystra to Derbe to Antioch of Pisidia. And so I said, you are stoned by your own." Yes, he said, I opened my mail at midnight, and in almost every letter is a thorn. And when I put my head on my pillow an hour or two later, I really lay it on a crown of thorns. But, he said, I cannot tell you what ineffable joy I have to suffer. And then he quoted the 24th verse of St. Paul's letter to the Colossians. I fill up in my own flesh the sufferings that are wanting to the passion of Christ for the sake of his body, which is the church. In other words, I suffer all of this for the sake of the church. That's how we use suffering. I think the great tragedy of this world is the suffering that goes to waste. People suffer and they have no one whom they can love. Love does not kill pain, but it diminishes it. I was lecturing in a city in Florida about 2 years ago, and I saw 4 or 5 wheelchairs in the front of the stage. After my lecture, I jumped off the stage and went down to talk to the people in wheelchairs. Well, over against the wall was something that looked like a Grecian statue, all white. And I went over, and it was a woman in an iron lung. And she was swathed in white. You couldn't see the arms. The only part of her body that she could move was her head. And she said, I'm a convert of yours. I said, I've never seen you before. No. She said, it was from reading some of your books. And I said, do you understand your cross? And she said, yes, I do. I am not suffering for my own soul. I am suffering for other souls, to save them. In other words, there was the death in order that there might be the life in others.